prophet came and put us on the main line. We on the main line, the main line. The prophet came and put us on the main line. He brought us our religion, our flag, and grace. The prophet came and put us on the main line. He connected us back to the human race. The prophet came and put us on the main line. We on the main line, the main line. The prophet came and put us on the main line. We on the main line, the main line. The prophet came and put us on the main line. He brought us our religion, our flag, and grace. The prophet came and put us on the main line. He said the Moorish temple was our place. The prophet came and put us on the main line. We're on the main line, the main line. The prophet came and put us on the main line. We're on the main line, the main line. The prophet came and put us on the main line. He came with love and holy zeal. The prophet came and put us on the main line. And he opened us the book of the seven seals. The prophet came and put us on the main line. We're on the main line, the main line. The prophet came and put us on the main line. We're on the main line, the main line. The prophet came and put us on the main line. He came and broke the Roman seal. The prophet came and put us on the main line. He gave us back our free name, and hill. The prophet came and put us on the main line. We're on the main line, the main line. The prophet came and put us on the main line. We're on the main line, the main line. The prophet came and put us on the main line. Allah, Allah, the great supreme. The prophet came and put us on the main line. Praise Allah, we have been redeemed. The prophet came and put us on the main line. We're on the main line, the main line. The prophet came and put us on the main line. We're on the main line, the main line. The prophet came and put us on the main line.
Islam.
Islam.
May Allah be pleased. First I rise and give praise to the God, Father Allah. I give honor to our holy prophet, Noble Ali. I give honor to all of our past prophets, Buddha, Confucius, etc. I give honor to the leaders of the Moorish Science Temple of America, past, present, and current. Brother R. Love, to Brother R. Jones family. I also give honor to all local, state, and national officials. And I give honor to this temple, one of the leading temples in New York for 84 years today, and to their grand chief for the wise heresy. I give honor to all those that are here in love for this great movement, but also in love to spread across the human nation, because love is needed to be seen for all of us. Peace.
Peace.
Brother got me.
Islam.
Brother Doug comes in the baby said, if you're not ready, get ready. Stay ready, right? Islam. Many of you may not know me from Sister Arab, nobody from Temple 21, Brooklyn, New York. Through the lineage of Brother N. Rebels family, Sister P. Rebels family. Born and raised since the age of 6, 7 years old in the temple, Temple 21. And have traveled to live in California and now back home, and very, very honored and blessed that my travels led me today to be with you Moors. This is a very great gift that I share with my children this morning, that we get to be here amongst the Moors against all those that are seeking love and want love in return. So I'm going to read from chapter 35, page 42, Holy Instructions from the Prophet, Religion. There is but one Allah, the author, the creator, the governor of the world, almighty, eternal, and incomprehensible. The sun is not Allah, though his noblest image. He enlightened the world with his brightness, his warmth with his light to the products of the earth. Admire him as the creature, the instrument of Allah, but worship him not. To the one who is supreme, most wise and beneficent, and to him alone belong worship, adoration, thanksgiving, and praise. Who hath stretched forth the heavens with his hands, who hath described with his finger the courses of the stars, who setteth bounds to the ocean that it cannot pass, and saith unto the stormy winds, Be still. Who shaketh the earth, and the nations tremble, who dareth his lightnings, and the wicked are dismayed, who calleth forth worlds by the words of his mouth, who smiteth with his arm, and they cease to nothing. O reverence the majesty of the Omnipotent, and tempt not his anger, lest thou be destroyed. The providence of Allah is ever all his works. He ruleth and directeth with infinite wisdom. He hath instituted laws for the government of the world. He hath wonderfully varied them in all beings, and each by his nature conformeth to his will. In the depth of his mind he revolveth all knowledge. The secrets of futurity lie open before him. The thoughts of thy heart are naked to his view, and he knoweth thy determination before they are made. With respect to his prescience, there is nothing contingent. With respect to his providence, there is nothing accidental. Wonderful he is in all his ways. His counsels are inscrutable. The manner of his knowledge transcendeth thy conception. Pay therefore to his wisdom all honor and veneration, and bow down thyself in humble and submissive obedience to his supreme discretion. The Father is gracious and beneficent. He hath created the world in mercy and love. His creatures of his hand declare his goodness, and their enjoyments speak of his praise. He clothed them with beauty, he supported them with food, he preserveth them with pleasure from generation to generation. If we lift up our eyes to the heavens, his glory shineth forth. If we cast them down on the earth, it is full of his goodness. The hills and the valleys rejoice and sing. Fields, rivers, and woods resound his praise. But thee, he hath distinguished with peculiar favor, and exalted thy station above all creatures. He hath endued thee with reason, to maintain thy dominion. He hath fitted thee with language, to improve thy society, and exalted thy mind with the powers of meditation, to contemplate and adore his inimitable perfections. And in the laws he hath ordained as the rule of life, so kindly hath he united thy duty to thy nature, that obedience to his precepts is happiness to thyself. O praise his goodness with songs of thanksgiving, and meditate in silence on the wonders of his love. Let thy heart overflow with gratitude and acknowledgement. Let the language of thy lips speak praise and adoration. Let the actions of thy life show thy love to his law. Allah is just and righteous, and will judge the earth with equity and truth. Hath he established his laws in goodness and mercy, and shall he not punish the transgressors thereof? O think not, bold men, because thy punishment is delayed, that the arm of Allah is weakened. Neither flatter thyself with hopes that he winketh at thy doing. His eye pierces the secrets of every heart, and he remembereth them forever. He respecteth not the persons or the stations of men, the high and the low, the rich and the poor, the wise and ignorant. When the soul hath shaketh all the cumbrous shackles of this mortal life, shall equally receive from the senses of just and everlasting retribution according to their works. Then shall the wicked tremble and be dismayed. Then shall the wicked tremble and be afraid, for the heart of the righteous shall rejoice in his judgments. O fear Allah, therefore, all the days of thy life, and walk in the path which he hath opened before thee. Let prudence admonish thee, let temperance restrain, let justice guide thy hand, benevolence warm thy heart, and gratitude to heaven inspire thee with devotion. These shall give thee happiness in thy present state, and bring thee to the mansions of eternal felicity in the paradise of Allah. This is the true economy of human life. Peace. Peace. Lord, I read that chapter because when I think about Allah, and I think about all the things that He has given us, no matter how we perceive them, they can also look different. I was literally just having this conversation with my children, how we can want something better in life, but if you look around, you can also see someone who has something worse in life than maybe your situation.
That's right.
We are gifted with what Allah gives us. And I just, as I'm reading the chapter and I'm hearing what I spoke about being reaffirmed to me, on 29 it says, "O fear Allah, therefore all the days of life, and walk in the path which He hath opened before thee." Allah opened the path for you. Allah opened the path for all of us so that we can see and learn and grow. Not just physically, not just through monetary reasons, but to grow spiritually. Because just go back to the end of that sentence. He does that with justice guiding our hand. Justice, we know what justice is. We just explained to them about when you drop something, if something falls, if a children's acting not in their higher self, sometimes justice comes. You got to get the child back on path. And whether it's a child or it's an adult or it's an older person, Allah will ensure that justice guides our hand back. But the gratitude to heaven, knowing that we are thankful for what we are given with devotion, takes us right back to where we're supposed to be, with Allah. We're supposed to be making sure that we're taking every step that He opens for us to get closer to Him.
Wow.
And the only way to get closer to Him is to be obedient to Him.
Wow.
And if you're obedient to Him, it actually really isn't that hard.
Wow.
I'm trying to go back and find it, but even in here, when it's just saying it's according to thy will. And in here, it talks about where it feels good to do that. 21. And in the laws He hath ordained as the rule of life, so kindly hath He united thy duty to thy nature. It's in our nature to do good. It is in our duty to be loving and caring and speaking of truth. But the nature is already in us, but we have to be obedient to His precepts. It brings happiness to thyself. My daughter and I, we always go into sometimes, pick on a little bit, and we should talk about, I say you have to be careful with the energy you bring into this house. You have to be careful about the energy you bring into this room. Because you don't even have to say anything, and you can feel someone's energy. You can walk into a room and you can know when someone is not doing right or they're not feeling good, or when they're sad. You don't have to use words for that. And so when you walk in the kitchen to eat dinner and you're upset, we all feel it without a word being spoken. And so you have to be responsible for your energy, because when you send a thrill to every other living thing.
Wow.
And we all feel it. And with that, we have to give a response back. And so we have a great gift to be responsible for that. When we walk in to a place of love and a place of worship, that we come with love, that we come ready to be open to hearing. I remember, we all go through trials and tribulations, and people get upset, or you get upset at someone, or you may not like someone. But Allah speaks to man through man. And it may not be that person of what you didn't like of what they did. But the truth is the truth. And you will hear it. And so you have to be open to hearing it. Because the only way you can hear it is if you are coming with love and openness. And so I want to thank Moore for calling me up and being able to share the thoughts that Allah has given me today. But I hope that you know, as we're all going about our day to day, the one thought that had came to me is, you know, we all think we have it bad, but Allah opened the path for us to go through so we can learn what we need to learn, so we can continue to ascend. And so no matter how the problem comes to us, no matter how challenging it is, there is a lesson that we have to learn. And once we learn it, we can move forward and go and evolve to the next stage and get higher and higher. Peace.
Peace. Always addicts, don't you? Always addicts, don't you? You know the Muslims in Morocco. Always addicts, don't you? Street in white. It must be the people called the Moabites. You know the Muslims. Always addicts, don't you? Always addicts, don't you? Always addicts, don't you? You know the Muslims in Morocco. Always addicts, don't you? Who's that coming down the street in green? It must be the people that the prophet redeemed. You know the Muslims in Morocco. Always addicts, don't you hear? Always addicts, don't you hear? Always addicts, don't you hear? You know the Muslims in Morocco. Always addicts, don't you hear? Who's that coming down the street in green? It must be the people that the prophet redeemed. You know the Muslims in Morocco. Always addicts, don't you hear? Always addicts, don't you hear? Always addicts, don't you hear? You know the Muslims in Morocco. Always addicts, don't you hear? Islam. Praise Allah, hottest to his holy and divine prophet, Prophet Noble Drew Ali. We'd like to thank Sister A. Revenue Bay for her reading and her words and her demonstration of the prophet's teachings. Sister read from the divine instructions from the Holy Prophet, chapter 35, holy instructions from the prophet religion. You know, praise Allah for the sister blessing us with her presence and her words. Sister definitely sowing the seed. Talking about walking that path. We walking that path in unity. And you see that the sisters installing those seeds in her household and watching it unfold. And that's a blessing that she blesses her and her family here today at Temple number 34 on that homeward journey back to New York. Praise Allah. Thank you, sister. Islam? Without further ado, we're calling on the next speaker, Brother K. Richardson L., Assistant Grand Governor of the State of New York, after a song. Peace. Oh, I ain't no stranger now. No, I ain't no stranger now. I have been introduced to the Father and the Son. And I ain't no stranger. I ain't no stranger now. Oh, if I could, I surely would. Yes, I surely would. Oh, if I could, I surely would. Yes, I surely would. Oh, if I should, I surely would. Stand on that rock, where the prophet stood, holy unto Allah, crying, holy unto Allah, holy unto Allah, crying, holy unto Allah. Oh, if I could, I surely would stand on that rock, where the prophet stood,
Islam. Rise giving praise to the great God Allah, the Father of the universe. We give honor to his holy and divine prophet, Prophet Noble Drew Ali, founder of the Moorish Science Temple of America, savior of humanity. We give honor to Brother Marcus Garvey, the harbinger to the prophet. We give honor to the past supreme grand advisors and moderators of the Moorish Science Temple of America, Brother C. Kirkman Bey, Brother F. Nelson Bey, and Brother J. Blakely Bey. We give honor to the former Grand Sheikh and moderator of the Moorish Science Temple of America, Brother R. Love Eel. I give honor to the Grand Sheikh and moderator of the Moorish Science Temple of America, Brother R. Jones Bay. And to his assistant, Brother P. Chase Hill. I give honor to all national, state, and local officials of the Moorish Science Temple of America. I give honor to the Grand Governor of the state of New York, Brother C. Hurt Bay. I give honor to all Grand Governors and their assistants. I give honor to all Grand Sheiks and their assistants. I give honor to the Grand Sheik here at Moorish Science Temple number 34, Brother Y. Cyrus Hill. I give honor to the Grand Sheik of Moorish Science Temple number 21, Brother M. Brothers Bay, as well as the Grand Sheik of Moorish Science Temple number 54, Brother D. Clark Yeh. I give honor to his assistant, who again is Brother C. Hurt Bay. I give honor to the Charter, which gives us the right to practice Islam here in America without molestation. I give honor to the two flags combined, the American flag for the republic for which it stands, and the Moorish flag for the divine principles of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. I give honor to all those who are assembled here today. I give honor to man, for when man honors man, he honors his Father, God of all. Praise Allah. So, Moors, it's a joyous event. We're here for a Charter Day for Moorish Science Temple number 34. And when I think about Charter Day, I always think about the Moorish Americans who made the sacrifice out of their time, their finances, among their families to establish a temple in any location here in the continental United States. And I believe temple number 34, this is what, the 83rd? 84. Praise Allah. Charter Day celebration for Moorish Science Temple number 34. And I was thinking on the way here, traveling here, driving, I was fortunate enough to see some of the old Moorish voices down in temple number 21. And one of the interesting things that I found within one of those Moorish voices is temple number 34 in the 1930s. 237, 239 Hancock Street, Brooklyn, New York. So Moors, you are a part of a very, very illustrious history of Moorish Americans who heard the Prophet's voice and took heed to the Prophet's voice. The Prophet at one time said, every word that I speak is spirit, and you Moors had better heed. And each and every one of you have taken that instruction, and you've heeded the Prophet's voice, and you've proclaimed your nationality, and you've done things that are necessary to be better. And when I think about Prophet Noble Drew Ali, I'm always reminded where the Prophet says the fallen sons and daughters of the Asiatic nation North America need to learn to love instead of hate, and to know of their higher self and lower self. This is the uniting of the Holy Quran in Mecca for teaching and instructing all Moorish Americans, etc. So each and every one of us are learning that process. We're learning to love instead of hate. And it is indeed a process. Because for one, some of the things that we didn't think or even attribute to be hate is hate. And the Prophet Noble Drew Ali is clearly showing us all of these things within our character, within our personality, within some of the things that we've accepted as the result of their teaching. And it's always good to take note and to take inventory of some of these things that we have accepted. It's always good to take note and take inventory of that acceptance to know how far we've actually come and how much more work we have to do. Prophet Noble Drew Ali was prepared the Holy Quran of the Moorish Science Temple of America, and he said, the peace of society dependeth on justice, the happiness of all individuals for the safe enjoyment of all their possessions. Excuse me, boys. And praise Allah. Because within that particular instruction, we're learning exactly what our responsibilities are. We're learning what our responsibilities are to each one of us and to greater society at large. So I'm going to take a reading from the Holy Quran of the Moorish Science Temple of America, divinely prepared by the noble Prophet Drew Ali, by the guiding fist, Father God Allah, the great God of the universe, to redeem man from his sinful and fallen stage of humanity back to the highest plane of life with his Father God Allah. I'm going to take a reading on page 40, the divine instructions from the Holy Prophet, chapter number 31, holy instructions from the Prophet Justice. Instruction number 1, the peace of society dependeth on justice, the happiness of individuals on the safe enjoyment of all their possessions. Keep the desires of thy heart, therefore, within the bounds of moderation. Let the hand of justice lead them aright. Cast not an evil eye on the goods of thy neighbor. Let whatever is his property be sacred from thy touch. Let no temptation allure thee, nor any provocation excite thee to lift up thy hand to the hazard of his life. Defame him not in his character. Bear no false witness against him. Corrupt not his servant to cheat or forsake him. And the wife of his bosom, O tempt not to sin. It will be a grief to his heart, which thou canst not relieve, an injury to his life, which no reparation can atone. In thy dealings with men, be impartial and just, and do unto them as thou wouldest they should do unto thee. Be faithful to thy trust, and deceive not the man who relieth upon thee. Be assured it is less evil in the sight of Allah to steal than to betray. Oppress not the poor, and defraud not of his hire the laboring man. When thou sellest for gain, hear the whispering of conscience, and be satisfied with moderation, nor from the ignorance of thy buyer take any advantage. Pay the debts which thou owest, for he who gave thee credit relieth upon thine honor, and to withhold from him his due is both mean and unjust. Finally, O son of society, examine thy heart, call remembrance to thy aid, and if any of these things thou hast transgressed, make a speedy reparation to the utmost of thy power. Praise Allah, Moors.
Praise
Praise
Allah.
Allah.
And I'm thinking about that particular chapter because I always have to remind myself, and we should always be reminding ourselves with these divine instructions of just what our responsibilities are to society, to ourselves, and ultimately to the great God Allah. Because Sister Ramnobe, she read from the chapter Religion. And the great God Allah knoweth thy determinations before they are made. You can't get away with anything in the flesh. You can't get away with anything even when you have the responsibility of knowing better. We have these divine instructions from the Holy Prophet. So each and every one of us has said that we're going to take it upon ourselves to make the necessary changes to be better. To make the necessary changes to be better men, to be better women, to be better husbands, to be better wives, to be better daughters, etc., etc., etc. I don't think it stops. Just as you go along the way and you gain more responsibility, I think that responsibility just increases. And when you think about some of the things that we find within greater society, we know that we're doing better because we experience new experiences. If one is experiencing the same experience, you know that you have work to do. You know that you have certain things to do within self to clean up, because you'll repeat the same thing. The Prophet teaches the things we see are but reflexes just appearing as the ethers vibrate so-and-so. And when conditions change, they disappear. Many of us might even look at the reflex to be a reflex. Those reflexes just appearing because we haven't learned the lesson quite yet. But when you think about it more, there is no failure for the human soul. Allah is leading and victory is sure. So there's nothing to be too down about. There's nothing to be depressed about. It's just a lesson. You're going through it at a moment. And that moment is going to change as the conditions change. So praise Allah, Moors, and happy Charter Day to Moorish Science Temple number 34. It's truly a blessing to be in your company. And with that, Moors, I say peace.
Islam is that old time religion. Islam is that old time religion. Islam is that old time religion. It's good enough for me. It was good for our forefathers. It was good for our forefathers. It was good for our forefathers. It's good enough for me. Islam is that old time religion. Islam is that old time religion. Islam is that old time religion. It's good enough for me. It was good for the Holy prophet. It was good for the holy prophet. It was good for the holy prophet. It's good enough for me. Islam is that old time religion. Islam is that old time religion. Islam is that old time religion. It's good enough for me.
Islam.
Islam.
Praise Allah, honor to his holy divine prophet, Prophet Noble Jew Ali. I'd like to thank Brother K. Richardson Ill for his reading and his words. Brother Grant from the divine instructions from the Holy Prophet, chapter 31, holy instructions from the Prophet Justice. And the brother, definitely bless us with this addition to the nourishment here on our charter day, speaking about the processing and the unfolding and the responsibilities here in the Moorish scientific America. So it's a blessing to be here in the charter day. They say, Mr. Meeting, Mr. Lesson, Mr. Lesson, Mr. Blessing. Islam.
Islam.
Without further ado, I'm calling on the next speaker for this evening, Brother W. Kennedy Bay, Assistant Grand Chief, Tickle number 34, after a song.
We're marching into Mecca, that beautiful city of love. Now we're marching into Mecca, that beautiful city of love. Now if you wanna know where we're bound, that beautiful city of love, into the holy city, most of life is found. That beautiful city of love. Now we're marching into Mecca, that beautiful city of love. Now we're marching into Mecca, that beautiful city of love. If you don't have a pure heart, then you will regret it. That beautiful city of love. You won't make it into Mecca because the angels protect it. That beautiful city of love. Now we're marching into Mecca, that beautiful city of love. Now we're marching into Mecca, that beautiful city of love.
Islam, Moorish Americans.
Islam.
I rise and I give praise to the great God, Allah, the great God of the universe, the author and the creator and the governor of the world, almighty, eternal, and incomprehensible. God is so great, he made you. So I give honor to you. Allah don't play around. He made you for a reason and for a purpose. The song says we're marching. We're marching, we're going someplace. We're giving honor to this temple and to all the temples. We're giving honor to the charter. Brother Chairman talked about how it's a light in the community. I give honor to the Prophet Noble Drew Ali, the last prophet in these days, who's the same spirit as Jesus, who's the same spirit as Muslim. So when the good old sister down the block told me she loves Jesus, I said, so do I. He came again. And when the Muslim brother told me he loved Prophet Muhammad, I said, so do I. There's a picture of Prophet Muhammad right there. Praise be to Allah for sending us the prophet. It says in chapter 2 that Allah so loved the world that he sent us his son to come down here to show us the way. Isn't it good to have someone show the way? Remember when you see the little children down here? Remember the first time you went to the store? Your bigger brother, sister, your mother, dad held your hand and told you what to do, how to count your change and everything. They had to show you the way. Remember the first time you went on your own? The first time you went on your own, you had to think about all the instructions they gave. Watch before you cross the street. Count your change. Look the person in the eye. You know what I'm saying? All these different things. Now you just take it for granted 30, 40 years later. I give honor to all the members of the Moorish Science America. I give honor to Brother Marcus Garvey, the harbinger to the prophet. I give honor to all of our leaders, past, present, and future, to our Grand Chief, Brother R. Jones Bay, to his assistant, Brother P. Chase Hill. I give honor to the Grand Governor of the State of New York, Brother C. Bay, and his assistant who's here today with us, Brother K. Richardson Hill. I give honor to the Grand Chief of Temple number 21, Brother N. River Bay, who's here with us, the former Grand Governor of New York, Brother K. William Gill, who's with us here. To to our Grand Sheikah Emeritus, it's the East German Bay, the Golden Bay. Some of y'all remember the Golden Bay was Grand Sheikah before that. His chairman for many years was Forster Bay. You know, I think there was a Grand Sheikah named McLean Bay or something like that. And, you know, yeah, you know, give honor to our Grand Sheikah, the Wise Cyrus Hill. Praise Allah.
Praise Allah.
Praise Allah. You know, give honor to the charter and the flags. And Happy Charter Day. Islam.
Happy Charter Day.
Has everyone here seen the charter before? I mean, you know what? We have it 84 years, and you don't even know what we're talking about. They're hanging on the wall of each and every temple. The charter of the Moorish Science Temple of America. This is a powerful thing.
Islam.
You just sit in the meeting, you know, parents brought you here, someone brought you here. Maybe you heard something on Facebook, like join, but you don't even never seen the charter. The charter of the Moorish Science of America, same charter here in Temple 21, same charter when we go to the convention, same charter of the first temple.
Praise Allah.
This represents something.
Islam.
It has symbols on it. Like the flag you have on it, man. You might have heard about the pyramid or the Sphinx. The story of the lion and the lamb. See the brothers and sisters come together and we press hands. We form one of the symbols on the chart. Crescent and the star. Circle 7, which is on your nationality. Praise Allah, Grand Sheikh. Could you put this back up? Thank you so much. So the charter, 84 years. It started off in New York at Temple 21. October 2nd, 1933. Temple 21, there was a Temple 22, there was a Temple 23, Temple 27, all in New York. Temple 34, Temple 54, Temple 69, Temple 72, Temple 81. Now we got a study group up in Syracuse. Expanded past the 5 boroughs. You know? But praise Allah. You know, many years ago when I joined the temple, I met Sister Arab in Obey. I believe I picked her up from high school a couple of times and maybe drove her home.
Islam.
You know?
Praise Allah.
I want to give honor to her husband. Islam, Dad, why don't you stand up for us, man? Islam, this is the sister's husband. Islam.
Islam.
Praise Allah. Thank you. I give honor to your family. I give honor to all of the Moors in your family. This is what the Prophet Noble Drew Ali is bringing us. Now, where are we going? What is the light that the chairman's talking about? Well, look at the world we live in today. I'm driving up, listening to the news. 11 people got shot in Brownville last night. They had a celebration celebrating Old Timers Day and everything. The families out there. They said there was 100 police officers out there. Think about the boldness of our brothers and sisters. With 100 police officers, your grandmother, your auntie, and your cousin, and still none of that affects you. You still ready to pull out that gun and start shooting. That's how low our people have gone. No sense no more. No love of a human being. So caught up in that lower nature, almost become like the monster that the Prophet's talking about. You know? Sometimes make you think that there's no love in them, but see, I know that even in them brothers and sisters, there's that love. I know that the spirit of the Most High is in everyone, even the meanest man or woman on the planet Earth. And I know that if we are careful about what we say and what we do, we can actually inspire that love to grow in that person. You know also what I heard? I heard the President of the United States of America tweeting about Baltimore. See, I'm down here in Baltimore, Maryland now. I was like, what? Because he's upset with the Congressman Elijah Cummings. So because he's upset with him, he's going to talk about him and the people that's in his district.
Wow.
How filthy it is. Rat infested. And that's not the whole area, but maybe there are some people some places like that. But the President of the United States, you know, I grew up in the 60s and the 70s. When I was a little boy, I don't know why, but my parents told me that the police officer was there to help. I should listen to the priest in the church because he was there to help. And that these people like Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, Robert Kennedy, John F. Kennedy. All these people was trying to do the right thing. You're a little boy, you know how you tell the children? You tell them these stories, these nice stories about how nice things are. You start thinking about it. Then one day I'm watching on TV, and I'm watching this police officer with a dog letting it attack a lady in a march.
Come on.
And I'm watching this, and in my mind, I'm just trying to explain this to myself. What's the meaning of this, Mom? You told me the police officers was all right. Here to protect and serve.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm seeing this.
Mm.
And after 50-something years of seeing so many different things, I'm saying, whoa, what's going on? And that doesn't mean every police officer. I'm proud to give honor to Brother A.M. Williams. Yeah, he's a police officer in New York City. Moorish American. And there's many police officers and police women around the country trying to do the right thing. But it's the state of mind of some. And you hear the story of the priest in the church. You're like, whoa, what's going on? And then here you have the President of the United States of America acting in such a fashion. What do you tell these young men here? What do you tell these little girls and these little boys? How do you not lie to them and try to get them prepared for the world they have to walk in one day? What do you do? What they call a conundrum. It's something that you're caught between a rock and a hard place. You want to tell them the truth, and yet you're trying to foster the right thing to do. You know how many times in our communities I heard when we talk about our brother Jesus, how you can't be like Jesus. So you tell a child that this is something you can't do. They start to put that in their mind. We have these characters like Malcolm and Martin, Marcus Garvey, Farrakhan, Elijah Muhammad, Black Panther. You know what I'm saying? We have these characters that are going to come and save us and do something for us. Because as a little boy, I saw they killed Malcolm. They killed Martin Luther King. They killed John F. Kennedy. They killed his brother. And they killed a lot of other people. So what happened? What's going on? This is like 30-something years ago now. Where's the Martin Luther King today? Where's the Malcolm X today? Where's the Black Panther other than in the movie screen? The Moorish Science Temple of America is so beautiful because it lets each and every one of us know that we're that and more.
Wow.
That you are a God in the making. And that if you will follow the principles of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, you can unfold in this universe. Because that's what we need. Let me read from the Holy Quran of the Moorish Science of America. Holy instructions for thy children. I'm thinking about what to read. You know, we're coming together. It's Charter Day. But I'm thinking about when Sister Amira was speaking. I'm thinking about I'm a grandfather now. Brother, you're a great grandfather, so you just saying it. You know. And we see the young people coming. And you know, sometimes you're thinking that this life is something that you originated or something. Don't you know there was thousands of brothers just like us that was doing something similar 100 years ago, 500 years ago, 1,000 years ago, 2,000 years ago, 100,000 years ago? You know what we're standing on? For that charter to be created, to be brought forth to us by the Prophet Noble Drew Ali. Our flag here is over 10,000 years old. So we're standing on greatness, and we are great. It's just a matter of in our own minds. As a man or woman thinketh, so they are. If you think you're great, you are great. If you think you're not, you're not. The prophet says you rise in the morning, one moment you're beneath a worm. Next, you're above a God. Like, why? Because it's in your mind. So this chapter on children starts off with a thought. Page 34, Moorish, chapter number 23. Holy instructions for thy children. Consider thou art a parent. The importance of thy trust. Consider thou art the President of the United States. The importance of thy trust. Consider you are a senator, or a congressman, or a police officer, or a minister, or a priest in this society. The importance of thy trust. See, these are the connections that we need to have. When the parent doesn't see the importance of thy trust, when the president doesn't see the importance of the leader, or whoever doesn't see the importance of that trust that's put in their hands, that's when the society breaks down. And as it breaks down, and as we start to build ourselves up, we have to build up our family. We have to, in turn, build up the society. Look at the way the society is going. If we just let it go that way, what kind of future do our children have? You're already waiting online at the airports, metal detectors. Going into some schools, you got metal detectors. You know, all kind of things are put out there. What kind of world, what kind of path are we heading down? Who is going to put on the brakes and say, wait a minute? And then after putting on the brakes, who's going to have the nerve and the gall and the strength enough to turn it around to head in the right direction? Consider the importance of thy trust. The being that has produced, it is thy duty to support. Duty. Trust. Upon thee also dependeth whether the child of thy bosom be a blessing or a curse to thyself, and useful or a worthless member to the community. Prepare him early with instruction, and season his mind with the maxims of truth. Watch the bent of his inclination, set him right in his youth, and let no evil habit gain strength with his years. So shall he rise like a cedar on the mountains. His head shall be seen above the trees of the forest. You know, I was just reading these instructions because they're instructions for parents that have children, but yet they're instructions for all of us. You know, so we come here today to celebrate 84 years of Temple number 34. But we're not just celebrating Temple 34, we're celebrating the Moorish Science Temple of America. We're celebrating a national and a divine movement. And we're moving. We talked about moving on a divine level. You become the gods and goddesses that you were meant to be. That's going to take some work. It's not like a second grade spelling test. Bird. B-I-R-D. Say it again. B-I-R-D. It's more difficult than that. It's dealing with all these different relationships you have in your family, at your job, in your community, past, present, things happening in the future that you're not even aware of. It's about having children and burying grandma. You know, it's about having money and having no money. It's about having friends and finding out they're not friends. It's about being married and being divorced. It's being abandoned and being a foster child. Being homeless. And feeling hopelessness. It's this thing we call life. And perfected man must go through all the ways of life. Just be happy that you have something to guide you. I've had this for over 34 years now. And I failed many a test. Many a test haven't. I always say to myself, what if I never had it? And what kind of brother could that be would have been with no teachings of the prophet, no control? So every time I fail a test, I just get back up. It's like you failed that spelling test, and your mother's like, she don't get all, okay, it's Monday, we got new words, let's get back on it, and you're gonna do better on Friday.
That's right.
And she keeps that positive thought, even when you got none of the words right.
That's right.
And she comes up with all kind of ways. Or, you know, we're studying at night, we're gonna study in the car. We're gonna study, I'm gonna put the words in your lunchbox. Because it's up to me to help you to make sure you pass that test.
That's right.
And that's what the prophet Noble Dwelly does for us.
Praise God.
Each and every one of us that are faithful members of the Moorish Science of America, The prophet Noble Joy picks us up and helps us with our tests, shows us the errors of our ways, shows us and encourages us what we should seek, what we should study, who we should meet, who we should talk to, experiences we should have, so that we be prepared for the next trial and the next temptation. So that's why we're celebrating this. This is our oasis in the desert. This is something that can help the world, and the Prophet Noble Joy tells us that one day, that love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice has to be taught in every land. And I thank you, Chairman, for giving me the opportunity to speak our
Peace is where the physical part of man was first formed. That beautiful city of love. The peace gate, the cherubim with the flaming sword. That beautiful city of love. Now we're marching into Mecca. That beautiful city of love. Now we're marching into Mecca. That beautiful city of love. Praise our Lord, you are, please take my hand. That beautiful city of love. Now the ancient name is Eden, down the Canaan land. That beautiful city of love. Now we're marching into Mecca. That beautiful city of love. Now we're marching into Mecca. That beautiful city of love.
Islam. Praise Allah, honor to his holy divine prophet, Prophet Noble Joy Ali. We'd like to thank Brother W. Kennedy Bay for his reading, his words, and his demonstration. We give honor to Brother W. Kennedy Bay, former Grand Sheikh here at Temple number 34. The brother demonstrated from divine instructions from the Holy Prophet, chapter 23, Holy Instructions for Thy Children. The brother spoke on many disparities out there in the world. He spoke about that light out there in the world, which is in the Moorish Temple of America. You know, the prophet instructs us to let hope be our beacon light. So praise Allah for that thought. Brother W. Kennedy Bay. Islam. Without further ado, we'll call on the next speaker, Brother N. Rebels Bay, Grand Sheikh of Temple number 21, after a song.
The prophet up, lift him up, the prophet up, till he speaks from eternity. And if I be lifted up from the earth, I'll draw all men unto me. How to reach the masses, men of every birth. Bless Juwali gave the key, and if I be lifted up from the earth, I'll draw all men unto me. Lift him up, the prophet up, lift him up, the prophet up, till he speaks from eternity. And if I be lifted up from the earth, I'll draw all men unto me. Now the world is hungry for the living bread. Let the prophet up for them to see. Trust in him, and do not doubt the words that he said. I'll draw all men unto me. Lift him up, the prophet up. Lift him up, the prophet up, till he speaks from eternity. And if I be lifted up from the earth, I'll draw all men unto me.
Islam.
Islam.
Arise and give praise to Allah, the Father of the universe, great God of love, compassion, and mercy. And I give honor to his holy prophets, Jesus, Muhammad, Buddha, Confucius, etc. The last prophet in these days and times, Prophet Noble Joy Ali. I give honor to the harbinger to our prophet, Brother Marcus Messiah Garvey, whose birthday is coming up pretty soon. And I give honor to our past supreme grad advisors and moderators, Brother C. Kirkham Bay, Brother F. Nelson Bay, Brother J. Blakely Bay, our former Grand Sheikh, Brother All Love Bill, to our present Grand Sheikh and moderator, Brother R. Jones Bay. I give honor to all of our national, state officials, local and national officials of the Moorish Science of America. I give honor to officials of Temple number 21, and especially to number 30, Temple number 34 on its anniversary, and 54, to the assistant grand governor, who's also assistant Grand Sheik of Moorish Science Temple 21 that is here, Brother Richard Neal, to all those that are assembled here today. It's an honor to be here. I give honor to our two flags, the American flag and the Moorish flag. I give honor to our divine constitution and bylaws, our holy Quran, our questionary, and all the literature that's been divinely prepared by the noble prophet, by the guidance of the great God Allah for the uplifting of fallen humanity. A pleasure to be here today, and to, on a personal note, we had an anniversary that fell on Friday this year. My children are here. Give honor to my daughter and my husband and the children that are here. And the blessing was for us that they were here, you know. And that's always a good thing. I never thought, I'll let her know personally, I never thought she was going to be a national official of the Moorish Science Temple of America. She wound up being a national official, which is a good thing. And I remember when it happened, because I was in convention, she said, oh, that sister right over there. She didn't even know her name. She knew who she was. Oh, that sister right over there. So, you know, became a national official. That was a blessing. I give on to W. Condena Bay, you know, some of the Moors I know about the K. William Deal family. Because I've known these Moors for many, many years. You know, we quote unquote grew up together in the Moorish Science Temple of America. Sister E. Jefferson Neal, Sister German Bay, Brother Bolden Bay, who I remember very vividly. Brother Bolden Bay, when he retired, he moved out there near us in Long Island. Brother Foster Eel, and all the brothers and sisters that were here prior to us, because they allowed us to grow as individuals. We kept it straight, and make sure that we stayed on the path. So I will say this very briefly, you know, when you come to the Moorish Science Temple of America, those that don't know, you know, try and imitate those that were here before you. You know, don't try and innovate and get something new and fancy and think, well, it's not. You know, you're sticking with the prophet brought you through your elders that brought it to you, and you will find out the benefit of being in this organization for so long and be able to reap the benefits of it. Like Brother Condena Bay said, you're going to go through some things in life. The blessing is that you have a divine constitution, a holy Quran, all those things are necessary. Like the prophet said, I'm going to be living from the Moorish literature. He said the prophet has spoken. It's found on page 812, if those that have a copy. He said, he or she, all governors and grand sheiks and head officials that guide any body of Moors of any temple of the Moorish Science of America, he or she must be a good moral spirit and a heart of love, and their works must be of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. They are to imitate the prophet in speech and teaching in any temple. They must not be under the influence of intoxicating liquors or any harmful motive to determine it to become a detriment to the organization. It must be known that any leader is staying away from home or neglecting his duty at home, or must allow the public to know of their wrongdoings. They must forever live the life of love at home, and they must be known by all the members. So that's not necessarily, and it is. You direct our leadership. That's to everyone. When you come into Moorish Science Temple of America, we do our best to be the best mother, father, children, and don't make no difference where you come from in life. With the divine instruction, you're going to become perfected. That's why you read divine instructions. You can't put a car together. Well, you could try, but I would not put a car together what I think a car is supposed to be done. You know, it'd be better to get the manual. I remember one time I had my car and I was putting high tests in there or something because somebody told me. So I went to the mechanic. He said, "What kind of gas?" I told him high test. He said, "The manual didn't say that. The manual said 87." I said, "Okay, I never read the manual. I'll come up with somebody else told me." So it's the same thing in the Moorish Science of America. Don't come up with what somebody told you. Come into the Moorish Science of America. Hear what the Holy Prophet said, and then it's more important, you have to conform to the teachings, and then you will see the blessings. It's very simple. If you start to conform, which means you have to cut away the non-ungainly parts, and then we'll become perfected. You got to go through something to be perfected. I heard, like the brother said earlier, about the shooting in Brooklyn and people that were calling in about it. And I said, that's because they don't have divine instructions. Very simple. We can sit here and make up all kinds of excuses, but you had a holy prophet, Prophet Noble Drew Ali, and in those teachings, he teaches about the lower self and the higher self. He teaches those things that are going to make it perfect us in this lifetime that we're here. But if you never use the lessons, if you act like you heard it but you don't want to adhere to them, you're subject to anything that's going to happen to you. And it's atrocity, and I'm not saying that people that got wounded or anything, that they deserve that. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that when you understand the divine instruction that adhere, they will. We know in this organization who the protector, guide, and salvation is. That's Prophet Noble Drew Ali. I remember one time going to, and I'm a musician, so we go to a lot of different places. I remember going to one place one time, and I heard the still small voice say, "That's vivid. Get out of here quick. Get out of here." Just like that. I said, "Okay." I left. And I'm just saying, see, that's how Allah can protect you. Because you might be in a situation, everything looks good, and all of a sudden, you better leave. You better go. There's a reason behind that, because when you talk to the great God Allah, He will guide you. So we're here to learn about our protector, our guide, and our salvation. It's a wonderful thing when we begin to hear. I saw some things when I came to the temple, on the wall and whatnot, especially about a Mexican over there. I was reading about that. I was looking that up. And you know, this last year, the only time, not the only time, the first time I began to realize that your history, like the Prophet Noble Drew Ali said when you read, Egypt, the capital of Africa, it's for real. It's really for real. Just within the last month, and I'm working on a project right now, I heard 3 different individuals speak about that. They're not from the Moorish Scientific America. But they said, and I'll quote a little bit of what they said. He said about a man named Plato, and I've heard about Plato before. Plato wrote a book called The Pantheon and the Pantheon. And then he talked about a place called Atlantis. And when his Dionysus, I believe his name was, the gentleman who preceded him, when he went to the pharaohs at that time, the pharaohs told him, oh yeah, we know about that place over there. That was like 9,600 years ago. The Plato's relative, 9,600 years ago. So they knew about this place. He said that was through the Gibraltar Strait. They said it was bigger than Libya, which is at that time was Africa, and Asia Minor put together. But that the land had sunk. But they knew about that 9,600 years ago when Plato went. So this gentleman that wrote a book that I heard on the radio, he talked about the flood when it happened. And the dates of the flood, compared to what Plato said, deals with the dates that talk about the land that was over there across the ocean that was bigger. It's America. It's South America. When the glacial flood, the land sunk. But then when the sea started rising, it rose again. And one of the things that he mentioned, that when this happened, the gentleman said, well, what about the migration? Go back. There probably was no migration, because for those years, the land was down there. So the already people that were already over here were already over here, and the land rose again. So the book went on later on, some of the other individuals went on, I'm not going to speak long about it. They found traces of North Africa, well, traces of civilization over 150,000 years ago in San Diego, brand new. 150,000. I said, prophet said, keep your eyes and ears open, and the European will reveal things to you. Just you gotta keep your eyes open. I'll give you the research. When I went and looked up 150,000 years ago, and these were researchers trying to find out the pre-Americas, and there were 3 different people. They talked about the giants that roamed the earth. I said, well, that's us. You know, how the grapes as big as 2 men had to carry them. That's us. And they weren't, I forgot the terminology for people that's tall today, like basketball players. No, they weren't that. They were naturally taller. So the prophet taught us about these tall, our ancient ancestors that were here. Up and down the mighty Mississippi River, they talked about places they found in under the Great Lakes area, cities. You know, back there, a couple of weeks ago when I did this thing out in the park, I had a public scene about Serpent Mound, Ohio. I gotta go. Serpent Mound, Ohio. Serpent Mound, Ohio. There's a lot of mounds that are all up and down there, and all I can say is praise Allah for Prophet Noble Drew Ali. Your ancestors were already here from you, so when somebody came to find you, they found cities. And then the last thing I'm just going to make mention of, when we got to read from Korean, one of the researchers said, you know, that the Amazon was not a rainforest. He said that was a garden, which they grew food. It was not a rainforest. It was a garden.
Wow.
And when those colonial, well, really the Spanish came, they found over 1 million people there with all kinds of cities and things already here. You know. So the interesting part about, for me, is being a member of this Moorish science to realize that the Prophet has revealed so many things to us. Our people really don't understand, like Brother Clinton said, that Allah is in you. He's going to protect you. He's going to guide you. You're going to have to go through some things to be perfected. Because how can you do things and you've never really been perfected yet? And it's on for those that are members of this organization that come in to be the best that you can be in mankind. To prove that you can have peace on earth, goodwill to men, love Jesus, and we become Jesus-like, and better yet, God-like. So I'm going to take a reading from the Holy Quran of the Moorish Science of America, which is divinely prepared by the noble prophet Drew Ali, by the guidance of his Father God Allah, the great God of the universe. To redeem man from the sinful and fallen state and vanity, back to the highest plane of life with his Father God Allah. Know thyself in Allah, the genealogy of Jesus, life and works of Jesus in Europe and Africa, in the land of Egypt. I'm going to take a reading from page 16, chapter number 10. I'm starting on instruction 13, instruction 12. And Jesus said, the Allah I speak about is everywhere. He cannot be encompassed with walls or hedged about with bounds of any kind. All people worship Allah the one, but all the people see him not alike. This universal law is wisdom, will, and love. All men see not the triune law. One sees him as a law of might, another as a law of thought, another as a law of law. And man's idea is his God, and so as man unfolds, his God unfolds. Man's God today, tomorrow is not God. Nations of the earth see Allah from different points of view, and so he does not seem the same to everyone. Man names the part of the law he sees, and this to him is all of the law, and every nation sees a part of the law, and every nation has a name for Allah. The Brahmins call him Parabrahm. In Egypt, his name is Thoth. Zeus, his name in Greece. Jehovah is his Hebrew name, but everywhere he is the causeless cause, the rootless root from which all things have grown. When men are afraid of the law and take him as a foe, they dress up other men in fancy garbs and call them priests, and charge them to restrain the wrath of Allah by prayers, and when they fail to win his favor by their prayers, buy him off with sacrifice of animals or birds. When man sees Allah as one with him, as Father God, he needs no middleman, nor priest to intercede. He goes straight up to him and says, "My Father, God Allah," and then he lays his hand in Allah's own hand, and all is well. So we have many formulas in this Moorish science, many ways to perfect ourselves, many ways to overcome all the perils of the lower self. And the more we take these divine instructions and use them, they're going to work for you. But if you never use them, they don't work. You know, it could be a thought in your mind, but you have to learn the lessons and then apply them. And the more you apply the lessons, the more that the instructions become a part of you, and you will become godlike. You'll find things. I'm honored for the Lord here because he taught me so many things, and then they had a chance to travel with him, I know, across the country. And one of the things he told me is always listen to the still small voice. The still small voice tell you something. Don't second guess. Don't do what it tell you to do. Don't shudder. And he said he shuddered when I said something about the still small voice. And I didn't do it. He said, "Get away from you." Like he was going to strike me. Yeah. But he was saying it to let me know, really adhere to what Allah tells you to do. Don't listen to the lower self, because the lower self have you react when somebody says something, you gotta say something back. No, sometimes the wisdom is keeping your mouth shut. The wisdom, yeah, that's the wisdom. You know, when you go to the wise men, or at least you study with some people that are at least wiser than yourself, you learn a lot of things about life. And one thing a little small analogy, I heard the story once about Mahatma Gandhi, and you know, people honor Gandhi for many things that he did. So one woman went to Gandhi and said, "Well, I want you to tell your son to tell my son, don't eat any sugar." So he said, "Okay, I'll do that." So he didn't do it. So a couple of days went by, 3 or 4 days went. She went, I thought I asked, well, you know, all on my brother, I asked you to please tell my son don't eat no sugar. He said, "Okay, don't worry about it." So he still a couple more days later, you know. So sister said, "Well, you know, no disrespect, but I asked you to, you know, tell my son don't eat any sugar." He said, "Well, the reason I didn't tell your son not to eat no sugar, I was eating sugar for myself. So I couldn't tell him to do something I was doing. So I had to stop eating the sugar, get it clean out my system a little bit, then I go tell your son, don't eat sugar."
That's right.
You know, so you have to lead by example. It's a lesson that, you know, and little things that we learn along the way that makes us better and better. So I honor Brother White Cyrus Hill for being Grand Sheik of this temple. May Allah bless him, control him, be his destiny, his guide, his salvation. And to all that are here, I pray Allah sing. Peace.
Peace. With great change, since I've been born, there's a great change. Since I've been born, great change. Since I've been born, there's a great change. Since I've been born, the things I used to do, well, I don't do no more. The things I used to do, well, I don't do no more. The things I used to do, well, I don't do no more. There's a great change since I've been born. The places I used to go, well, I don't go no more. The places I used to go, well, I don't go no more. The places I used to go, well, I don't go no more. There's a great change since I've been born. The prayer I used to pray, well, I don't pray no more. The prayer I used to pray, well, I don't pray no more. The prayer I used to pray, well, I don't pray no more. There's a great change since I've been born. Great change since I've been born. There's a great change since I've been born. Great change Since I've been born, it's a great change. Since I've been born.
Islam.
Islam.
Praise Allah, honor to his holy divine prophet, Prophet Noble Drew Ali. We'd like to thank Brother N. Rebels Bay, Grand Sheik of Moorish Science of America, Temple number 21, for his reading and his words and his demonstration of the Prophet's teachings. The brother read from the Prophet's literature, the Prophet has spoken. The brother also read from the divine instructions from the Holy Prophet. Chapter 10, Jesus spake on the unity of Allah and man to the Hindus. The brother read from divine instructions 11 to 23. And praise Allah for the thoughts shared by the Grand Sheik. It's always a blessing to hear from the brother. And blessing us with the nourishment here on our charted day. Just want to remind the Moors to keep the cell phones on vibrate. We don't want to block our blessings. Praise Allah. Islam?
Islam.
Without further ado, I'm going to call on the final speaker for this afternoon, Brother Y. Cyrus Hill, the Grand Sheik, Africa, Temple number 34.
Wade in the water, Muslim. Wade in the water, Muslim. Wade in the water, Muslim. Juali done troubled the waters. Oh, who's that yonder, all dressed in red?
Juali done troubled the waters. It looks like the Muslim that
Juali led.
Juali done troubled the water, singing, wade in the water, Muslim. Wade in the water, Muslims. Wade away in the water, Muslim. Juali done troubled the water. Oh, who's that yonder old dressed in
green?
Juali done troubled the water. It must be the people that Juali redeemed. Juali done troubled the water. Sing it, wade in the water, Muslim. Wade in the water, Muslim. Wade away in the water, Muslim. Juali done troubled the water. Islam.
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 First I rise and I give praise to the great God Allah, the Father of the universe, the Father of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, the author, the creator, and the governor of the world, almighty, eternal, and incomprehensible. We give praise to Allah, songs of thanksgiving. We meditate in silence on the wonders of His love. The Quran says, let our hearts overflow with gratitude and acknowledgement. And let the language of our lips speak praise and adoration. And let the actions of our life show our love to His law. O fear Allah all the days of thy life, and walk in the paths which He hath opened before thee. Let prudence admonish, let temperance restrain, let justice guide thy hand. And in gratitude to heaven inspire thee with devotion. These shall lead thee to the, these shall give thee happiness in thy present state and lead you to the mansions of eternal felicity in the paradise of Allah. Praise Allah. I give high honors to the last prophet in these days, who was divinely prepared by the great God Allah to redeem man from the sinful and fallen stage of humanity back to the highest plane of life with his Father God Allah, his Prophet Noble Drew Ali. And I want to read a few words about our prophet. This comes from the Moorish literature's article entitled Savior of Humanity. Jumping down a little bit for sake of time, it says, it is truly wonderful and astounding to see one come into this mad human drama for the sole purpose of saving humanity, losing all sight on those things worldly and yielding absolutely to a cause higher than has ever been attained. This picture is the likeness of Prophet Noble Drew Ali.
who is serving humanity. Coming as he does with a message for the nations, in somewhat the same manner as did Jesus, Muhammad, Buddha, Confucius, and other prophets of their day. Only the things of this prophet's day differ from the ills of the days past. And yet the remedy for those ills of today is the same as the remedies for the days past. All turning about the pivot. Love. Love for humanity. Praise Allah.
Praise Allah.
Prophet Noble Drew Ali brought us a two-part mission. He wanted us to uplift fallen humanity for our questionnaire. What is the purpose of the Moorish Science Temple of America? For the uplifting of fallen humanity. And he also was instructing us to become one with our Father God Allah. One again. And the prophet was so powerful, ingenious, was so divinely well prepared that he gave us plenty of tools in order to reach those goals. And he showed us several paths that will lead to the same place, including the prophet. Our program instructs us that we should be one. We should make ourselves one with Allah's will. Make our will one with Allah's will. Mission accomplished. Also, if we can embody the 5 principles: love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Because the law is love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Mission accomplished. Also, when you read the Moorish Science, the Holy Quran of the Moorish Science Temple of America talks about vibration. You heard Sister A. Ravenel Bay talked about the vibration, the vibes, the importance of the vibe. You can raise your tone. Mission accomplished. Sounds easy. You use the tools in order to accomplish it. I want to give honors to all of the divine prophets. I give honors to the forerunner of the prophet, Brother Marcus Mosiah Garvey, who said one aim, one God, and one destiny. I give honors to all of the leadership of the Moorish Science Temple of America, past and present. I give honors to everyone and everything that our chairman, assistant chairman, Brother C. Martin Stansel Ill, gave honors to. I give honors to the Grand Sheik of the Moorish Science Temple of America, Brother R. Jones Bay. I give honors to all of the Grand Sheiks in New York. Give honors to the Grand Sheik of Temple number 21, who we just heard. Praise Allah. Brother N. Rebels Bay. I give honors to the Grand Sheik of Temple number 54, Brother D. Clark L. Praise Allah. I give honors to the former Grand Governor of the state of New York, Brother K. Williams L. I give honors to Sister A. Ravenel Bay. Sister Ravenel Bay, you are the chairman of the Young Muslims League? Assistant Treasurer of the Young Muslims League. Praise Allah. I give honors to Sister Ravenel Bay. I give honors to your family, to your mother. I give honors to the former Grand Sheik of Temple number 34, Brother W. Clendenin Bay. Giving honors to the charter, to the flags. Since it's our Charter Day, 84th Charter Day of Temple number 34, which was set aside by Brother C. Kirkman Bay, July 29th, 1935. I wanted to acknowledge the former leaders of Temple number 34, as was explained to me by Sister German Bay, my first Grand Sheik. I want to give honors to Brother Al Corbin Ill, the first Grand Sheik of Temple number 34. I give honors to Brother D. Carrington Bay. I give honors to Brother J. Simmons Ill and to Brother C. McLean Bay. I give honors to Brother L. Bowden Bay, who Brother W. Clendenin Bay pointed out. I think Sister Raven, someone else mentioned earlier. Brother Rebels Bay also mentioned Brother L. Bowden Bay. And I've missed Brother Foster Bay. I picked that up tonight. The Moors mentioned a former Grand Sheik by Brother Foster Bay. I know that era. He was the chairman, that's why. Brother L. Bowden Bay was the Grand Sheik of Temple number 34 for 20 years. 20 years. Sister German Bay said that Brother Bowden Bay was a military man. And when Brother Bowden Bay served until he got sick, a brother by the name of Brother D. Wilson Bay took over. Praise Allah. And Brother D. Wilson Bay headed up Temple 34 as long as he could. And then the temple went out of commission. I don't know exactly how many years with the years. Maybe Brother Williams L, one of the Moors, Brother Rebels Bay can explain that gap to me. Before Brother C. Ferguson L and Sister E. German Bay, the next Grand Sheik, reestablished, if you will, Temple 34 in 2008. Sister E. German Bay became the seventh Grand Sheik of Temple number 34. Sister German Bay was a member of the Moorish Science Temple of America for 56 years too. I'm gonna talk about that. But Sister E. German Bay, and then our former Grand Sheik, who also spoke just a few minutes ago, Brother W. Clendenin Bay. I want to give honors to all of the past leaders of Temple number 34. I give honors to everyone, all of our officials, all of our sheiks, and everyone that's here this afternoon. Praise Allah. Moors. I wanted to, in honor of, in practice of the principle of gratitude, I wanted to talk a little bit about Sister German Bay, you know, who was the seventh Grand Sheik of Temple number 34, and she was also my first Grand Sheik when I came through the doors. As I said, Sister German Bay, she joined the Moorish Science Temple of America in 1963. She served 56 years to date. She's still a member of Atlanta's Temple number 88, serving as a regular member. You know, Sister German Bay was the first and the only female Grand Sheik of Temple number 34. Praise Allah. And she was made into a Grand Sheik Emeritus by Brother W. Clendenin Bay, our former Grand Sheik, in 2014. Sister German Bay worked very closely with Brother C. Ferguson L. You know, they were very, very close friends. And she also had the honor and the pleasure of knowing the author, Brother Jose Pimenta Bay, the author of the book, Our Fellow's Children in the New World. Brother Jose Pimenta Bay was actually, he also, he had an essay that was submitted to the book. It's actually in the book, Golden Age of the Moors, by Ivan Van Sertima. And Brother Pimenta Bay was a member of Temple number 34 for a very long time, according to Sister German Bay and the Moors in New York. I remember when I first came into Temple 34, I tell this story a lot, and I want to put it on the record today since it's our 84th. We're talking about Sister German Bay. Creative fate brought me into Temple 34. I had first heard in my travels to get into the Moorish Science Temple of America, I heard that the real temples there's some real temples in New York. Brother S.N.I.L. Bay, Brother Sharif as I call him. And Brother Sharif said the Moors could be just sold. And he sent me here, I went on the internet, I found Temple number 9, which is the convention hall. I found a photograph of Temple number 9 during the convention, packed full of Moors, and I thought that was Temple 21. So I came searching for entrance into 21, and it landed me here in 34 on accident. Came through the doors, Temple looked much different than it does today. And Sister German Bay was here. Her daughter, Sister A. Bethpar Bay, was sitting at this table, which was our secretary table. Brother L. Evans Bay was at the door here. There was no mufti on the door, which is strange. And Brother Ferguson L. Was the chairman. He was chairman. And Moors, if you get a chance, this is a photograph of Sister German Bay here hanging on the wall. Take a look at her eyes when you get a chance. Sister German Bay, I sat about where Sister Rebels Bay is sitting right now, and Sister Ravenel Bay, with my son Blaze, who was about 10 years old, 9 years old at the time. And when Sister German Bay got up to speak, she was shooting some type of energy at me with her eyes while she was speaking with conviction from the rostrum. And she exuded a certain type of a quality that dramatically affected me. I was the only guest that evening. And I said, hey, this is not like the picture I saw when I was on the internet. But at the end of that night, I told myself I have to stay at this temple with these Moors and assist. And because of the conviction that I saw in Sister German Bay, the energy that she was giving off. And praise Allah, the Moors reciprocated that energy to me over the years. And they also saw something in me. Maybe that's why she was speaking that way. I don't know. Sister German Bay always spoke that way. But Sister German Bay had a lot of very powerful qualities. The sister was, she is very strong and resolute. You know, she served as 20 years as the secretary with all men in the temple. You can't do that unless you were strong and resolute. She was also very humble and experienced. In her experience, she was very humble. Sister German Bay, when she actually stepped down She ultimately stepped down one year. She said I had to move to Atlanta, and when she did it, she actually stepped down during the elections. She gave her position, but Condemnable took over as the Grand Sheik of Temple number 34. She went and she sat in the audience. She sat in the chairs out in the front with her daughter for like a year and a half. And to me, that struck me as being very humble in for the Grand Sheik that everyone loves so much. But and I always say that it was a heroic type of humility that she showed. But finally, the last quality that struck me the most about Sister German Bay, and this was my whole point. Sister German Bay was extremely sweet and loving. The energy that she was exuding was love. And in the years that followed, talking with Brother Ferguson and with the Moors, Brother Condemnable, we said we need to follow that energy that Sister German Bay brought into Temple 34, that love, and we need that to be the signature of Temple number 34. And since then, that's what we strive to actually achieve, is this certain vibration. It's a vibration of love, and make it our signature, to the extent that when you look on the seal, we developed a seal a few years ago for Temple 34. There's two there's a symbol that actually highlights love as a part of the stamp of Temple 34. For sake of time, I'm going to chapter 1, and I want to read a few verses. It says in chapter 1, "Hark now, let every creature hear. The plane of soul is but the ether of the spirit plane, vibrating not so fast. And in the slower rhythms of this plane, the essence of life will manifest. The perfumes and the odors, the true sensations and the all of love manifests. And these soul attributes became a body beautiful, a multitude of lessons man must learn upon the plane of soul. And here he tarries many ages until his lessons are all learned. Upon the boundary of the plane of soul, the ether began to vibrate slower still. And then the essences took on a final guard. The perfumes and the odors and the true sensations and the all of love were clothed in flesh." And in that chapter, you see the introduction of the concept that the prophet brought us about, the three planes of existence. The plane of spirit that vibrates very fast. The plane of soul that's intermediate. And the carnal plane, which we live on, right? Where things vibrate very slow. And in that, the qualities of each of the planes are very different, from the high to the low. I've always had a great fondness and curiosity for quantum physics and the discussions around quantum physics. I've always been interested in people like Kurt Gödel or even Albert Einstein's theories about the universe and how it's made up. What constitutes the makeup and the structure of the universe that we live in. And there are a couple of lecturers that are connected to this thought. Come to mind are like Dilbert Blair, if the Moors are familiar with Dilbert Blair, and there's a certain brother named Dr. Mitchell Gibson, was the first person that I heard describe the universe as being vibrations in rhythm, almost like he was saying it's music. And it struck me as very, as a revelation. And when I came into the Moorish Science Temple of America, the Prophet Noble Drew Ali, praise Allah, tweaked that thought. But the Prophet said, thought is the cause of it all. Thought is the cause of it all. And as you know, thought itself is a type of a vibration. You give off brain waves, they say, right? Actually, there's a relationship between the brain and the heart. Chapter 10 in our Holy Quran says, birds sing out their songs for men. Birds sing their song for men, and men vibrate in unison to help them sing. Instruction 7 and 8. It says the ant constructs his home, the bee is sheltering comb, the spider weaves her web, and flowers breathe to them a spirit in their sweet perfume that gives them strength to toil. And when you connect that thought to this general thought, it's like it's an ecosystem of vibration. Men vibrate in unison, right? And specifically, it doesn't say men vibrate. We vibrate in unison as we collect. We give off a vibration. The according to a scientific study called magnetocardiography, a technique called magnetocardiography, which is a technique to measure the magnetic fields produced by the heart, magnetic fields produced by electrical currents in the heart. The human heart is the most powerful generator of electromagnetic current in the human body. This is getting to biofields, if you will, energy field. And, you know, in our Quran, it talks about, actually in the Divine Constitution and Bylaws, it says, actually the scientists that are into this particular technique, right, or this science about the vibrations of the heart, they say that those particular vibrations, based on the makeup of atoms, which are things that are moving around in empty space, they vibrate. You can affect the makeup, the molecular makeup of your human body, your own body, right? As well as the conditions that are around us. Somebody read earlier today, I believe, I think it was Brother Richardson said, you know, the things we see are reflexes just appearing. This is out of chapter number 7. Jesus talking to Mamas Brahmas. The things we see are reflexes just appearing while the ethers vibrate. So and so. And when conditions change, they disappear. And when you think about this thought about us changing the things around us, you know, it goes back to this science. That's why the prophet says in Acts 7 in the Divine Constitution and Bylaws, he says, keep your hearts and minds pure with love. Right? Chapter number 3 says, instruction number 3 is my favorite verse. It's one of the most powerful keys in the Quran. It actually talks about what I would say is alchemy. It says, blessed are the pure in heart, for they will love and not demand. They will give love and not demand love in return. The pure in heart. Chapter 9 says the pure in heart do not accuse. There's this concept of the pure in heart, pure with love, right? In closing, there's a documentary I went to Moors. If you haven't taken a look, it illustrates this thought about how we, with our vibrations, we change the things around us. There's a documentary called Water, the Great Mystery. I assume a lot of the Moors probably have seen this, and the documentary highlights the work of a Japanese researcher called goes by the name of Dr. Masaru Emoto. And what Dr. Emoto found is that with water, right, one of the essential elements of all of the things that we are made of. When you speak to water, and you say something negative, or it's around negative energy, negative music, and you look at the molecular structure of the water under a microscope, it looks like a mess, like somebody threw something against the wall. But when you say something simple like "thank you" to water, it begins to take geometric shapes. It changes at the molecular level.
That's right.
When you say a prayer, it becomes like patterns, geometric patterns. And if you say praise Allah over water, it begins to take the form of like a chandelier on the molecular level. And this is the reason why we pray over our food, and we try. And when our parents cook, they put good thoughts into the food that we cook. Because our thoughts, our hearts, our minds, the vibration that we have, it changes the things that are around us. Chapter number 36 warns, it says, know thyself in the pride of his creation, the line uniting divinity and matter. Behold, a part of Allah himself within thee. Remember thine own dignity, nor dare descend to evil or to meanness. And I'm going to close by reading these are the ways that we accomplish the prophet's mission, uplifting fallen humanity, right? Becoming one with Almighty God Allah. I'm going to end with reading from the chapter Jesus and Barada together. They read the sacred books. I'm going to start from instruction number 28, and we'll read down to 35. It says, and so it was with every living thing, until the will became a sluggish will. And then the ethers of the protoplasm, the earth, the plant, the beast, the man, began to vibrate very slow. The ethers became more dense, and all the creatures of these planes were clothed with coarser garbs of flesh, which men can see, and thus the coarser manifest, which men call physical, appeared. And this is what is called the fall of man. The man fell not alone, for protoplasm and earth and plant and beast were all included in the fall. The angels and the cherubim fell not. Their will were ever strong. And so they held the ethers of their planes in harmony with Allah. Now, when the ether reached the rate of atmosphere and all the creatures of these planes must get their food from atmosphere, the conflict came. And then that which the finite man calls survival of the best became the law. The stronger ate the bodies of the weaker manifest. And here is where the carnal evolution had its rise. And now man in his utter shamelessness strikes down and eats the beast. The beast consumes the plant. The plant thrives on the earth absorbs the protoplasm. In yonder kingdom of the soul, this carnal evolution is not known, and the great work of masterminds is to restore the heritage of man, to bring him back to his estate that he had lost, and he again will live upon the ethers of his native plane. Praise Allah, Moors, and with that, I thank the Moors for joining us at Temple number 34 for our Charter Day, and thank you for your attention, and I leave the Moors in peace.
Peace. Come with me to my father's house, Muslims, to my father's house, Muslims, to my father's house. Come with me to my father's house. There is peace, peace, peace. There's no confusion there. In my father's house, Muslims, in my father's house, Muslims, in my father's house. There's no confusion there. In my father's house, there is peace, peace, peace. All over there. In my father's house, Muslims, in my father's house, Muslims, in my father's house. They're all over there. In my father's house, there is peace, peace, peace. So come and go with me to my father's house, Muslims, to my father's house, Muslims, to my father's house. Come and go with me to my father's house. There is peace, peace, peace.
Islam.
Islam.
Praise Allah, homage to his holy divine prophet, Prophet Noble Drew Ali. We'd like to thank Brother Y. Cyrus L., Grand Sheikh of Temple number 34, for his reading, his words, and his demonstration of the prophet's teachings. Thanks, Grand Sheikh. Praise Allah for his blessing. Brother read from the prophet's literature, the Savior of humanity. Brother also read from the divine instruction from the Holy Prophet, chapter 1, the creation and the fall of man. And brother also read from the divine instruction from the Holy Prophet, chapter 11, Jesus and Barada. Together they read the sacred books. Islam?
Islam.
Without further ado, I'm going to call on Brother K. Richardson L., the Assistant Grand Governor of the State of New York, to read the divine warning. Please.
Peace.
Islam.
Islam.
Rise, giving praise to the great God Allah, give honor to his holy and divine prophet, Prophet Noble Drew Ali, and give honor to all those who are assembled here, and give honor to everything that pertains to Islam. Peace.
Peace.
Divine warning by the Prophet Noble Drew Ali. Prophet warns all Muslims, governors ordered to read proclamation at each meeting. I hereby inform all members that they must end all radical agitating speeches while at work, in their homes, or on the streets. We offer peace and not destruction. Stop flashing your cards at Europeans. It causes confusion. Remember, your card is for your salvation. Failure to obey these orders will be of severe consequence. We offer love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. And when these principles are violated, justice must then take its course. Any member or group of members who hold malicious feelings toward the temple or the prophet or violate the divine covenant of the Moorish movement will receive their reward from Allah for their unjust deeds. All true Moors will and must obey the laws laid down to them by their prophet. If they lose confidence in their prophet, they should turn in their card and button, cease wearing their turban and fez, and return to the state where I, the prophet, found you. This is a holy and divine movement founded by the Prophet, Noble Drew Ali. And if the prophet is not right, the temple is not right. The prophet, therefore, is sending out the divine plea to all Moorish Americans that they do their part in protecting their prophet and the temple. This is an everlasting movement founded by the prophet through the will of Allah to redeem his people from their sins by order of Prophet Noble Drew Ali. Peace.
Islam. We're now moving to the secretary portion of the meeting. We have the public collection, uplifting fund, travel fund, and local building fund. So the travel fund, uplifting fund, local building fund, and public collection. More than interested in purchasing literature, need a proper remedy, approach the secretary table in an orderly fashion. You need to pay your dues. So at this time, Islam.
My dues for July this month.
July? 1 month?
Yeah, just 1 month. Exactly.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you. Islam. I'm gonna put it right here until I get Thank you. Okay, so now I gotta look for the other paper. I don't think you got no more.
For the daily sheet.
Yeah.
Green sheets of paper.
Okay. So usually if you put them together, so you can just take them out all that way.
Different days.
Islam. We only have an announcement. Anything we need to be aware of going on during this week. Islam.
I think I got one in my bag. Let me see if it works. Oh look, it does work.
Islam, good sheet.
Islam Moors, I wanted to make an announcement that Temple 34 will be having a Sisters Auxiliary, actually a program put together by the Sisters Auxiliary that goes by the name of Mothers of Virtue on August the 24th, on Saturday next month. So hopefully if the Moors are available, we also ask you if you have a family member, a mother, a sister, a friend, who you want to introduce to Moorish Science Temple of America. This event is going to be a very good look, if you will, to invite them to come out. Islam?
Islam, remember that?
So Temple, Westboro, 20th rather, they're gonna have their annual Family Day out second Sunday of the month in honor of, also doing it in honor of 8th grade year's 100th birthday celebration.
Inshallah. Wow.
So right now, just take the prophet's team.
15 in public collection? Okay. Praise Allah. You wanna do the number? Okay. Okay.
Islam, Rashid. Islam. Islam Moors. Usually during Charter Day, we like to acknowledge some of the service and the quality of membership of the members of Temple number 34. And I'd like to take a few minutes just to quickly acknowledge a few of our members, if you will. We also give out certificates for this to note it, and we don't have the certificates today. I'd like to officially acknowledge them more since it's Charter Day, and we will give those out next week. And with that thought, I'd like to, if you're able to, I know some of the Moors are on post, or helping with the secretary's table. But I'm going to ask, if you can, please come up to the front if I call your names. The first award I'd like to give and acknowledge a couple of our faithful members is our Faithful Member Award. And, you know, serving in the temple is not easy work. I always say that what it takes to come through the door is belief. But what it takes to make your meetings on a regular basis after you receive your call or take up a position is something else entirely. You know, there's a certain type of a motivation. I would say that it's love, love for your people, that causes you to actually earn that title of faithful. This year, I would like to acknowledge 3 Moorish Americans with the Faithful Member Award. I'm going to first ask our acting chairman, Brother C. Martinell. Brother Martinell, if you can come up and stand right there. Brother Martinell has always been, he's one of these exemplary members where he, from the time he came through the door of the Moorish Science Temple of America, this brother has been a fixture and a pinnacle, a pillar, a pinnacle of membership. You know, Temple number 34, blessed to get members like these. I also acknowledge the brother, congratulate him for being recently obligated. Brother got married to Sister S. Griffin Hill, also another faithful member. We got the double bonus following the prophet's instruction. I'm going to call on Brother T. Barry Bay, the Mufti at the door. Brother Barry Bay, if you can come up as well. You also receive our Faithful Member Award. Brother Williams, if you can help relieve him. No, you got Brother Williams.
Oh, okay.
Brother T. Barry Bay, you know, this brother is well a blessing to the Moorish Science Temple of America. I don't want to talk too long. The Barry Bays are unusual members. Yeah, on a nice line. The Barry Bays are, I've never seen a family come into the Moorish. I always say this is the first thing I say when talking about the Barry Bays. I've rarely seen a family, whole family come in through the doors like Sister Garcia got her nephews, right? A husband and a wife and 5 children, right? Coming in. You got adults like Brother D. Lockett Bay, Sister Terea Barry Bay, and Sister B. Reeves Bay, and a young adult like Brother Tyrell. You know, but these boys came in, they got their cards. I've never seen that before, and stayed and became pillars of the Moorish Science Temple of America. I say praise Allah for sending us the help we really needed at Temple 34. And the third Faithful Member Award, sister's actually in the back, being a faithful member, but it goes to Brother Barry Bay's wife, Sister L. Barry Bay. Sister L. Barry Bay. And that goes without saying. All of the Moors in this room, I would say other than Sister Ravenel, I bet you even Sister Ravenel Bay know about Sister L. Barry Bay and her works. You know, praise Allah. You know, I wanted to congratulate you for being faithful members of Temple number 34, and I pray Allah will continue to inspire the other members that they could be likewise in their service to the Prophet Noble Jew Ali in the Temple number 34. Praise Allah. Praise Allah. Islam. Thank you, Brother Martin. Thank you, Brother Barry Bay. Next, I want to give a tougher award. Well, actually, faithful member. You know, member is the best title that you can hold in the Moorish Science Temple of America, right? I think faithful member maybe edges that out a little bit. Definitely edges it out a little bit, right? Faithful member. But our attendance award is a special award. It's harder to attain.
We have a new person who received it this year that didn't get one last year, and the sister made the adjustment. You know, I think we gave out maybe 2 or 3 of these last year, and Sister Berry Bay did not receive an attendance award because she's so dedicated to multiple different things. She had certain things that she was doing on the trying to squeeze in a little bit of extra time to help out with other uplifting acts. She made the adjustment, and this year Sister Berry Bay has not missed. I'm trying to think if she missed 2 or 3 meetings ever. Sister Hamilton now? Sister T. Hamilton now? If Sister Berry Bay doesn't have gloves on, can you ask her to come out front when you want to acknowledge her? Our first of 2 attendance awards goes to Sister L. Berry Bay, and the other award goes to her husband, Brother T. Berry Bay. You know, Brother T. Berry Bay is like the backbone for Temple number 34. More's only been just about 3 years, a little over 3 years. And I say praise Allah. I want to acknowledge them for being here for 99% of the meetings. We had Brother Clinton Bay always said there's 52 weeks in a year, so that's 104 meetings per year. And to make 99% of your meetings is indeed a great feat. Sister Berry Bay, if you can come up, you just received, you didn't catch it, but you got the Faithful Member Award just a second ago. And I'm calling you up to honor you with the Attendance Award for 2019. I was telling the Moors that you want to stand in front of your husband, Brother T. Berry Bay, got the other Attendance Award. If Brother Williams, if you can leave the book at the door. I told the Moors that we're going to give the certificates next week at 34, but I just wanted to acknowledge while everyone was here, acknowledge you for your service. Praise Allah. The 2019 award for temple attendance, Brother and Sister Berry Bay, a married couple. Ain't that something? Praise Allah. Praise Allah. Thank you so much. Actually, I'm going to ask you both to stay here for this last award. Is a little bit more, a lot more people received the Temple Service Award. And this is an award that we give out to Moors that you know, go above and beyond with the assistance of the temple. And this is tough because we have people that are always aiding and assisting in so many different ways. You can't call the whole temple up and give everyone an award. You know, the Moors from Brother Lockett Bay to, you know, Sister Vasia, who painted the rostrum, Sister Vasia, you know, Sister Drainell and Brother Isaac. But I'd like to call, well, the first, like at the Berry Base here, Sister A. Gasson Bay is not able to attend with us today. She's on her way. She's on her way? Praise Allah. I want to give the Temple Service Award for Sister Gasson Bay. You know, the sister is actually, you know, sometimes she's a little bit under the weather, but when the sister works, and she always has been consistent, as long as she's feeling well, she puts her work in for the temple. She does it at a real deep level. Sister Gasson Bay works at a real deep level. She won't miss her meetings unless there's something really wrong. When it's time to clean up the temple, this sister digs deep. She comes early and stays late. She's on her way right now. I don't think sister is feeling well. I'm not going to say her business. I don't think she was feeling well at all this week. And yes, she is an aid and assistant auxiliary with food. I also want to call, well, I can't because the sister's doing service right now to the temple, Sister B. Reeves Bay, Temple Service Award. Sister Reeves Bay, if you can come up to the front just for a second. Praise Allah. Islam. Congratulations. And thank you, actually. I'm going to also call another brother who's not here because he traveled out of his way to go grab the Grand Governor, who's, whenever we make food, Brother Ferguson always gets stuck because he always makes the most food. He has a hard time moving it around. I think he missed his ride. Guess who drove up to save the day to help Brother Brother Ferguson L. Brother Peters L. Brother J. Peters L. Islam. We give honors to our Brother Peters L. And finally, the last person, and this is again, I say it's a very tough list because I can speak this way about all the faithful members of 34. The sister that just went in the back, Sister B. Reeves Bay, Brother Spalding Bay, Sister T. Hamilton L. If you want to ask her to come out, or she had gloves on, Brother Spalding Bay. She had gloves on. She might be the only person. We asked her to come out. These are our 2019 recipients of Temple number 34's Temple Service Award. I pray, Allah, that I have not left out anyone. I definitely like to thank all of the members that are striving, members of Temple number 34, for your service to the Temple. Sister Hamilton Hill actually technically is not a member of Temple 34, which is noteworthy, but she does so much work on behalf of the Temple that I would have found it to be remiss to not honor our sister for her work. Islam, Sister T. Hamilton Hill. Praise Allah. Thank you so much. And with that, I'm going to read the list off again. It's Sister A. Gatton Bay, Brother T. Berry Bay, Sister L. Berry Bay, Sister B. Reeves Ill, Brother J. Peters Ill, B. Reeves Bay. Did I say Reeves Ill?
Yeah.
It's the lights. It's the light. And Sister T. Hamilton Ill, recipients of the Temple number 34 2019 Temple Service Award. Praise Allah, Moors. Congratulations and thank you.
Islam.
Islam.
Thank you very much. Islam.
Thank you. Thank you.
Very big. Yes, sir. Okay, so I transfer these numbers over to you.
Yes.
Look what this brother's called right now. Okay. And I sign it down. Okay. And I sign it. They do it around different countries, and the different temples they do it. We don't have to, but I do it.
Yeah.
Collaboration. So we get these back. Then we're gonna start filling out math here. You got it. Calculator? Good.
Yeah, my phone.
You calculate it. And you calculate it, and then I'll do count the cash.
For the grand total, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. 35? Okay, thank you. Total 100 and
What you got?
yeah.
Islam. Sister S. Martin stands for L. Sends the Moors of Islam. I need to make it down. Praise Allah. Praise Allah. Islam, Grand Sheikh. Islam.
Islam. Also, Brother S. Love Bay texted me this morning. He wanted to extend his Islams. He said he had an emergency with his mother. And he asked the Moors specifically if the Moors could put some thoughts out for him and his mom. His mom, I think, is going to have knee surgery. But he asked, he apologized for missing. He asked the Moors, asked if I could give the Moors his Islam.
Islam.
Brother A. King Kearney Bay from Temple 11 sentences.
Islam. Islam. Brother A. King Kearney Bay, brother from Temple number 11, sends the Moors of Islam.
Praise Allah. Praise Allah. Islam.
Islam, Grand Sheikh.
Also, Brother J. Florence Ill, the Grand Sheikh of Temple number 48, called me as well early this morning and said he was unable to make it, but he wanted to extend his Islam to the Moors. Praise Allah.
Praise Allah.
161.
150. Oh, sorry. Oh, 153. I'm counting again, just to make sure. So we got $1 plus 6 plus 76.
I think I missed this. I didn't probably put in National Building Fund.
National Building Fund was $3.
Okay,
Okay.
I put it up to 16.
Okay, $8.
That's what I said. Yes, I was saying about that.
No. No, I never heard that one.
Secretary, Sister B. Reeves Bay, for the reading of our financial report. Islam.
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 First, I want to rise and give praise to Allah. I want to give honor to our holy and divine prophet, Prophet Noble Ali. And I want to give honor to everything that the assistant chairman gave honors to. And I want to thank everyone that came here today.
Praise Allah.
So now I will begin to read our finance that was received for July 28, 2019. Monthly dues is $1. Per capita tax is $6. Public collections is $76. Moorish remedies is $21. Emergency fund is $3. Uplifting fund is $23. National building fund is $8. Travel fund is $13. Local building fund is $10. Attendance is $35. Grand total is $161. And with that, I say peace.
Islam. You heard the reading of the financial report. It's the will and pleasure of the Moors. Islam. And Rebel Bay.
So I make a motion that the finance be accepted with necessary corrections at the end.
We have a second for the T. Berry Bay. Islam. It was moved by Brother N. Rebels Bay and seconded by Brother T. Berry Bay that the financial report be accepted with any necessary corrections as be need be. You heard the motion. Are you ready for the question? All those in favor show the sign of Islam.
Islam.
Any unreadiness? Islam. The secretary note that the motion has been carried.
Carried.
Praise Allah. Islam. Happy Charter Day to all the Moors.
Happy Charter Day.
We'd like to thank the Moors for their contribution physically, financially, and spiritually. Hope the Moors, Allah bless the Moors on their journey. We're looking forward to seeing the Moors who are members of Temple number 34 here Friday on our holy day. Praise Allah. Islam grants you anything else? Praise Allah. Praise Allah. So we're going to close out with the Moorish American prayer at the sound of the gavel. Islam. All rise. Face the east. Feet at 90 degrees. 5 on the left hand, 2 on the right hand. Repeat the Moorish American prayer after our Grand Sheikh, Brother Wyatt Cyrus Eel.
Allah, the Father of the universe.
Allah, the Father of the universe.
Father of love.
Father of love.
Truth.
Truth.
Peace.
Peace.
Freedom.
Freedom.
And justice.
And justice.
Allah is my protector.
Allah is my protector.
My guide.
My guide.
And my salvation.
And my salvation.
By night.
By night.
And by day.
And by day.
Through his holy prophet.
Through his holy prophet.
Through Ali.
Through Ali.
Amen.
Amen.
Make sure I say this.
Question on it.
You're welcome.
I guess I gotta look beyond the light and see the great God of Allah.
Do that.
Thank you. How you been? Enjoying this time?
Congratulations again. Not just him, but the family.
Okay, so now we gotta put this in the book.
All right.